Paul Tracy, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Other than I've got a million Hailie Deegan fans DMing me. I've probably gotten 10,000 DMs in my Instagram. So it's I'm constantly deleting DM.
I saw you were trending on Saturday night on Twitter, though. That's pretty exciting, no?
Yeah, I guess I don't even have Twitter. It's not even activated. So, but I was told I was, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. This is a racing slash TV show, and that's what we're trying to put on as a show.
Yeah, well, let's get right to it because, like you said, you've got these DMs. You're trending because of it. Saturday night in Slinger, you and Hailie Deegan. From your perspective, Paul, what's your side of the showdown between you and Hailie Deegan?
Well, look, she's an aggressive driver. I like aggressive drivers. I've known her dad for almost 20 years now. Him and I have known each other a long time. I can appreciate what she's trying to do and where she's trying to go. We were racing each other hard at the end of the night. If you go back and you look at the last 12 laps, and you kind of got to rewind back. I had a damaged car from earlier in the night. I got in, Ernie and he spun me around. I got really pissed off, and I went up and I was going to do the Helio Castroneves and take the side of his car out like he did the speed, and I inflicted my own damage, which was dumb of me to do that. So I had a damaged car all night. So what my plan was in the race was to sit at the back of the field and save my tires till the end, because these races have really come down to just tire management. So I basically positioned myself, clear of everybody at the back, and just waited and waited and waited and waited for literally 130 laps, because I know at the end of these things, there's going to be 2 or 3 restarts, and it's just going to be a free for all. And if you have better tires, you're going to be in better shape. So I waited, and then we had the restart started, and I went from 11th up to 4th. And if you look at the last 12 laps of the race, Hailie had contact from, in the rear of Ernie, Greg Biffle. She got into the back of him, which caused him to spin into Castroneves. And then she got to Labonte. She moved him off the corner and then got to me. And, she was faster than me, more than likely. She went for the inside, and I left enough room, but only just enough. And we made contact, and so it is what it is. But, in the moment, I was pissed off about it. But at the end of the day, this is racing, and we go on to the next one.
She's been saying on social media, she said to me, she said that you were chopping her nose all night. What do you say to that you were chopping her nose?
Well, I mean, I had a damaged car all night, and I had to drive a certain line, which is more like a qualifying line. And I was making a very late entry, an arc in, and get to the bottom of the track and apex the corner all the way around the corner and get it straight coming off the corner so I could get on the power in a straight line. So that was the only way I could get my car to turn, and I could get my car to come off the corner. And I drove that same line the whole night. So, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if a guy's driving a line, then you've got to find a way to get around that guy, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I just, like she tagged you again on social media not a bunch. She put it up there, you're chopping her nose. And then I talked with her yesterday on my channel, and she said that's what she said as well. So I had to see what you thought about the chop in the nose. That's all.
Well, I mean, you're racing on an oval. There's, if a guy's driving that line in front of you, I mean, you got to figure out a way to get around that,
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I mean, I've been racing a long time. I've been racing since I was five years old. And like I said, I got nothing against Hailie Deegan. I think she's talented, and I think she's got the talent to make it. But, right after, before I saw any of the replays, she had told me she was door-to-door with me. And that was clearly not the case. I mean, her front tire was at my back tire. And, in my mind, that's not your corner if you're not completely alongside the person that you're trying to race with. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's racing. It's short, it's like they say, this is short track racing, and we're going to another short track.
Right. So, I mean, with Nashville this weekend, you had the dust up with Ernie Francis last week, and then Hailie. Now, for you, when you're going into a new race, are you thinking about that from the previous race, or is it all fresh start, and then whatever happens on the track that night, then that's how it plays out for you?
No, it's all a fresh start every week for me. Like I've been, I raced a long time, and like I said, I'm going into this week, and when I got out of the car, when Ernie spun me around, I saw him at halftime, and I went up to him, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I axle hopped in. I tried to go for the apron to avoid hitting you, and I turned you around, and I said, okay, I'm gonna bump you back." Okay. Right. So I let you know, and I told him personally, and I said it on TV. He's going to get hit back. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you make the mistake and you own up to it, that's cool. I mean, for me, I mean, I was the first person when I got into it with Labonte at Eldora. I was like, I fucked that up, and I need to go down, and I went and apologized to him, and then went on air, and I said that was my fault. So, this is a show, like we're trying to pit old retired race car drivers that have won championships. Some are retired, some are not retired, against young up and comers or local ringers. And really, this is a show about testing these guys to see if they've got what it takes to make it in the big time, So, you're racing against Tony Stewart. Okay, Tony's been retired for a couple of years now, but if these kids are going to make it, or they're going to have a shot at making it, think about what's going to happen when they come up against Kyle Busch or Kurt Busch or Kevin Harvick. Those guys, they don't mess around at all. This is serious business for them. I mean, we're out there just having fun.
How is it? Because you mentioned some NASCAR guys, but then obviously, in this series, there's your Marcos and your Elios and Tony Kanans, and then even you yourself, with the IndyCar background. What's the difference there between for the young and up and comer folks going against the NASCAR guys as compared to the IndyCar guys?
Well, I think it's an opportunity to see where you're at and see what your level is. Look, Marco's a great driver. I've always thought he's a really good driver. I've watched him since he was a kid in go-karts, and I know him actually a lot better than I know his dad. Him and his dad and I didn't get along at all. And I really like Marco, and I think he's got a lot of talent as a driver. But he has been under this pressure because of the family name to live up to that name, which is an impossible task to do. It's an impossible shoes to fill, Mario's shoes, let alone his dad Michael's. So, I've seen him through his whole IndyCar career just be uptight and tense and trying too hard, and things just not going the way that the potential could have been if you're relaxed and loose about it. And I think now that he's stopped IndyCar racing and he's trying different things, and I think this SRX has really been good for him. Yeah. I think he's a good stock car driver. He's got really good car control. Saturday night he figured out how to manage the tires, and he put it in the winner's circle. So, there's a second chapter for him in racing, and I think that's great.
So you think he can make it do fairly well as a NASCAR driver if he makes a switch over there?
I think if he wanted to, he could. Yeah, for sure. I think he's got the name that he can put together a deal. Certainly can find some sponsorship, and maybe he can do something that his dad never did. His dad never won in a stock car. His grandfather did, but he's done something now that his dad didn't do. And I told him a few weeks ago. I said, "You're really good at this." I said, "You should try to do the 500 next year and then try to run the 600 and the double at Indy. I mean, that would be super cool." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that." So he's working on it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that'd be great. It felt like a little bit of a relief to see him take the checkered flag on Saturday night. You mentioned multiple times about how this is a TV show, SRX, and it's, I compared it to me, it kind of feels like the XFL of racing, right? Like they're trying new things. It's fun. It's experimental. So with Tony Stewart at the helm of it, is the bumping, is the rivalries, is that all kind of encouraged from him?
Well, it's not discouraged by anybody. And I've been involved now in TV with NBC for 8 years. And, I think, I think the biggest problem with racing now, at least for IndyCar, is there are no rivalries. Yeah. I mean, the on-track package of watching the race is amazing. Like, the guys are racing hard. It's competitive. It's super tight. The whole field's separated by a second, but there's no rivalries when they get out of the car. So there's nothing for the casual fan to get engaged about. I hate that guy, and I want to see Rossi beat that guy, or you know what I mean? So that's what's lacking, I feel, in motorsports now. Back in the day, you had bad guys. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was a bad guy. Tony was a bad guy. I was a bad guy. And the fans either loved you or hated you, and it gave them somebody to root for, and it gave them somebody to hate. And now everybody's walking around with skinny jeans on and a Starbucks coffee in their hand.
So if you had to pick, if you could look at the field, let's just say the starting grid from the Indy 500 in 2021, and you had to look at that group of drivers and say, yes, you, Paul Tracy, this is a dude that I think could be a good villain, a good bad guy in IndyCar, who would it be and why?
I mean, I think Rossi would be a great bad guy. But the problem is that everybody is so scared of social media now, and having somebody come after you and tag your sponsor or tag somebody. They're just too scared to do it. I know a lot of the drivers away from the racetrack, and these guys love to have a lot of fun, but they'll never show that on TV or in social media. And it's a shame, because there's a lot of great personalities, but they just don't show it. Yeah.
Okay. So is there any particular reason why Rossi, or you just think that he kind of has that attitude, or he's that kind of way as a driver, or why Rossi?
He's an edgy guy, he's got this kind of sarcastic, dry humor. And it's when you know him personally, it's 10 times even more funny, so, but he's very measured in the way he presents himself, which is what he feels he needs to do, and that's fine. But
do you think that'll ever change? Do you think that we'll get to a point, or we'll have some guy or girl behind the wheel that'll come in and say, screw that, I'm gonna be me, I'm gonna be the Paul Tracy, I'm gonna be the Happy Gilmore of IndyCar, of racing, and if a sponsor, that'll make a sponsor love me even more. That'll separate those who really want to be with me. Do you think we'll see that eventually, or are those days just gone because of social media?
I mean, I hope you will. I mean, I like Rinus VeeKay. I think he's a cool cat. He's got a lot of personality. Mm-hmm. Connor he's a goofball. Connor really plays the social media aspect of things. Bottom line, though, he needs to start getting some results. Because right now Renus is really quick and running up front, and Connor's kind of been struggling, and I know it's tough, but there's a few guys out there. I mean, Colton Herta, he's just one of those laid back California skater kids that's just like whatever, So I don't know if you're gonna ever get that much out of him,
Yeah, it's a fair point. It definitely is, and it's something that I know that I've talked with a few other current drivers about, and the fans that we're all kind of itching and begging for this, rivalry, the bad guys, the villains, but just haven't seemed to be able to crack it. So maybe it'll be on you, Paul. Maybe you can put together a squad or sponsorship, and then you get the drivers that are just like, fuck it, I don't care.
Well, I thought you were going to say maybe you should get back in the car. The problem is I wouldn't fit in one anymore. So.
Well, you're doing all right with SRX, so I know it's different than IndyCar, but you're still
lot bigger car than an IndyCar. But,
right.
I think, like I said, I think the IndyCar racing is fantastic. I think it's the best that there is. But, and I just don't understand why it's not garnering a bigger audience. For sure, the SRX series is a model that IndyCar can look at. Like, this thing's 5 weeks old, and it's getting amazing ratings every week. So, you got to look at that and say, okay, what are they doing right? What have they figured out? Why are is it the stock car factor that people identify with the stock car? Because there was a lot of people that hated the way this car looked when it was unveiled, right? They weren't fans of the look of the car.
Yeah.
But, so it just goes to show you that I don't think people really care about how fast the cars are, or what kind of speed they go, or what they look like. It's the entertainment, and it's the rivalries, and it's the not knowing what's going to happen next is what draws people in. And I think that's what's kind of lacking in IndyCars right now.
Do you have any interest in getting back in the booth or doing more booth work?
Yeah, I'll be back in the booth after this race. We have, the IndyCar's got the month off because of the Olympics.
Yeah.
So I'll be back in the booth for the rest of the year, starting at Nashville. So I'll be
nice.
racing this weekend, and then I'll be back in Nashville again.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be down there. I'm looking forward to that as well. Does the bridge concern you at all? I've asked a few of the drivers. Are you excited about the bridge down there at the GP?
I've never even been to Nashville in my whole life. So
really,
I don't know the bridge. I don't know the city. I hear they call it Nash Vegas. So I'm actually looking forward. We're planning a party Saturday night after the race is over at a rooftop location. Big Machine is putting on a party. They're local guys down there. So I'm looking forward to enjoying the city, because I've heard a million great things about it.
Yeah, no, it's a hell of a time, and I think you will appreciate it. Well, Paul, I appreciate the time and being honest and doing what you do best, man. And I'm looking forward to Saturday night. I know you're going to bring some more entertainment. So good luck to you, and stay safe out there.
All right. Thanks, man.